President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu continued to meet in Washington yesterday. And the IRS now says that religious groups can endorse political candidates. Good morning, I'm Kristen Wright from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. In Texas, it is day 6 of the massive search for flood victims. Authorities do say no one has been found alive since Friday. Robert Brake is searching for his parents.
They got washed away in their cabin Friday morning. And we came down to help in the search efforts. Maybe not be able to find my parents under this tragedy, but maybe we can help somebody else find theirs and have some closure and peace.
Governor Abbott says at least 109 people died in the floods. 161 are still missing in the Kerr County area, including 5 children and a counselor from the all-girls summer camp, Camp Mystic. The Associated Press reports state inspectors approved Camp Mystic's emergency plan 2 days before last Friday's flash floods. The camp said Monday it lost 27 campers and counselors. President Trump and the First Lady plan to travel to Texas Friday. New Mexico's governor has declared a state of emergency after the city of Ruidoso was hit by devastating flash flooding. NPR's Ryland Barton reports 3 people were killed. 2 of them are young children.
The flash flooding began Tuesday afternoon when heavy rain fell on burned areas from last year's wildfires. Emergency crews conducted over 50 swiftwater rescues. Governor Lujan Grisham said the state is mobilizing every resource it has and will need federal support. She added that Ruidoso deserves the same urgent response as Texas received for its devastating flooding that killed over 100 people last week. Ryland Barton, NPR News.
President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu have been meeting in Washington this week. The U.S. is pushing for a ceasefire agreement in Gaza. NPR's Tamara Keith reports on what a deal between Israel and Hamas may include.
During a cabinet meeting yesterday, Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff said he is hopeful that by the end of the week there will be an agreement, with 10 live hostages released as well as 9 deceased. Witkoff says he thinks this will lead to a lasting peace in Gaza. It's still unclear if Hamas and Israel will agree to the final terms.
The war in Gaza is in its 2nd year. In a departure from decades of precedent, the IRS says religious groups may endorse political candidates. Details now from Jack Jenkins of Religion News Service.
Since 1954, a provision of the federal tax code has barred houses of worship from endorsing candidates. Any that did so risk losing their tax-exempt status. But this week, the IRS told 2 Texas churches and an association of Christian broadcasters that endorsements delivered to a congregation are just fine. The agency likened it to, quote, a family discussion concerning candidates. President Trump has long said he wants to rescind the policy, known as the, quote, Johnson Amendment. Polls have found that no major religious group approves of letting faith leaders endorse from the pulpit. For NPR News, I'm Jack Jenkins in Washington.
The State Department is investigating a number of cybersecurity threats, including a fake Signal account impersonating Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He's the latest high-level Trump administration official to be targeted after a similar incident earlier this year involving the White House Chief of Staff. The story was first reported by The Washington Post. NPR's Michelle Kellerman reports.
According to a diplomatic cable, several foreign ministers received either texts or AI-generated voice messages purporting to be from Secretary of State Marco Rubio. State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce says the department is addressing the matter.
The department takes seriously its responsibility to safeguard its information and continuously takes steps to improve the department's cybersecurity posture to prevent future incidents.
The department is also looking into a Russian-linked phishing campaign that was using fake State Department emails. Michelle Kellerman, NPR News, the State Department.
You won't have to take off your shoes anymore to get through airport security. The new policy takes effect now at domestic airports and applies to most people. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says ending the shoe removal policy will streamline the security checkpoint process and shorten wait times.
Passengers will still pass through multiple layers of screening. They'll also go through identity verification. And in fact, TSA has recently experienced some fantastic success with implementing Real ID.
She says the TSA is also piloting new technologies at security checkpoints at some airports. The Supreme Court has cleared the way for the Trump administration to resume mass federal layoffs. NPR's Elena Moore reports the justices did not comment on the legality of the executive order directing those job cuts.
The unsigned order did not list how all 9 justices voted, but it included a dissent from Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson and a concurrence from Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who argued that lower courts could still address whether Trump's plan was constitutional. The White House is treating the decision as a win, saying in a statement that it's, quote, another definitive victory for the president. Trump signed the executive order back in February, but it was later blocked. Opponents say the plan will result in hundreds of thousands of federal workers losing their jobs. Elena Moore, NPR News.
A day after heavily armed immigration agents swept a Los Angeles park, the city joined a lawsuit challenging the tactics used in ICE raids. Steve Futterman reports.
The lawsuit accuses the federal government of using racial profiling and excessive use of force. Mayor Karen Bass, for a second straight day, criticized the agents' tactics, including what she says is a lack of identification.
Men will jump out, completely masked, pull guns, and take them away. How do we know the difference between this and a kidnapping?
City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto calls the actions unlawful.
These unconstitutional roundups and raids cannot be allowed to continue. They cannot become the new normal.
Homeland Security says nearly 2,800 have been arrested in the LA area since last month, but the agency hasn't commented specifically on the MacArthur Park operation.
In Formula One racing, Red Bull has fired its longtime team principal, Christian Horner. Horner led the team to 6 Constructors' Championships in his 20-year career with the team. In its announcement, Red Bull thanked Horner for his years of service, but didn't offer a reason for the dismissal. This is NPR.